Have you ever pondered why certain individuals appear to effortlessly grab someone's attention, while some people are left in the backdrop? It's actually not about looks or luck. Mastery is the key. Methods of connecting that actually pique interest. These are not only mediocre praise or cliched phrases, they're tactics that explore what actually energizes someone's curiosity. I'm dissecting everything today, because you recall what Will Rogers used to stated that there is never a second chance. The first step in creating a good initial impression, the initial impression that initially how you interact creates the first impression. The secret is understanding how to evoke a feeling of intrigue, excitement and mystery without attempting too much. With the appropriate strategy, you'll make an impression that lasts in their minds for a long time following the discussion is over. So if you're prepared to raise the ante and keep an eye out, I'm going to disclose the final connection strategies that people discover. I promise that these techniques will be enticing. Modify your approach to each step one of the conversation. Accept comedy. Mark. The well-known comic Mark Twain famously stated, "Nothing can withstand the attack of laughter." Can tolerate humor. It's not only about creating when someone smiles. Social interaction breaks down barriers in much more efficient ways than flattering, humorous, confident and witty, and a feeling of mastery in social surroundings that people find profoundly appealing in terms of construction. Making someone laugh with rapport is half the step two of the war. Master playful. Playful teasing increases early attraction. It's about gradually shoving aside to demonstrate that you're not completely swayed by their attractions, all completed with a subtle touch. But this is the important thing is never to put someone in depressed or pessimistic. Consider it as jerking their leg in a fun manner. Approach exudes assurance and fosters a special chemical that many people discover challenging to avoid becoming predictable and duplicate. Take a moment to think about compliments. When conversing with someone, don't merely rely on most folks on the same old compliments. Get anxious and depend on reliable remarks, such as, "You're so beautiful," or "They've heard your beautiful smile." Previously, folks weren't merely looking to be informed by someone that they're appealing. They're looking for someone who can then sense something sincere about this method, discreetly conveys that you're higher expectations and that you're astute enough to keep them guessing. You're not immediately enthralled with them, must contribute more than simply appearances to gain your acceptance, which is what makes this winning tactic makes a lasting impression. Dynamic. Imagine this, you smile. You and I most likely wouldn't make sure you're not turning them away. You're making this dynamic in a playful way. A playful pushback of this kind makes you make a statement and level the playing field. There isn't just one person pursuing the other, but rather two individuals taking pleasure in the conversation you're having together, boldly participating in light-hearted banter. Although most people avoid their words, you're fostering a light atmosphere. Without effort, here's the crucial aspect of flirting. You're demonstrating your level of confidence to interact without wearing a pedestal, demonstrating to them that you consider them an equal rather than a person to be admired. But be careful, there's a thin boundary. Too much taunting can send the wrong message, incorrect message, and grow increasingly obnoxious if you push it too far than charming. They may believe that you don't give a damn, which, when you balance, is not the aim. Appeal with light-hearted taunting, turn into the person they keep in mind that gentle teasing is effective, produces a pleasing amount of tension in a subtle push and pull to demonstrate your interest. Take a small step back to keep them. They're probably thinking, wait a minute, are they enjoying themselves or do they like me? They are drawn to it because they wish to determine you, and the more they consider you, the more involved they get, more trustworthy by. This is what most people frequently laugh at. Ignore the person who has the ability to make someone The ability to laugh even while depressed is someone they'll probably have a lot of faith in. Why? Since it displays emotional resilience and intelligence traits that distinguish a person when confronted with. Despite difficulties, people feel secure with someone you can trust, particularly in brief instances of sensitivity. Thus embrace comedy and link and observe how it changes. The second of your exchanges, the power. The ability to mimic body language is extremely strong, and reflecting can be an intriguing, nearly miraculous method to interact with others. Picture yourself as conversing with someone, and not even you both see that you're leaning in your synchronized body language, similar to a Dell dance. That's why mirroring has more power, rather than simply mimicking someone's motions. The goal is to establish an imperceptible bond. When executed discreetly, it might be among the most effective tools in your social. Imagine yourself in a toolkit. Dialogue. Someone leans in, and you find yourself abruptly performing the same. A magnetic pull and an interchange of "isn't that energy that draws you closer?" Amazing. According to Oprah Winfrey, if you want to, she's bending to the right and connecting. Not only demonstrates involvement, but also ignites the unconscious bond we all yearn for. But it doesn't end there. Attempt a small head tilt during keeping eye contact is a tiny action, but it tells a lot about me. I'm listening here, and I'm sincere. Intrigued by this gesture's elegance is found in its simplicity, yet it also possesses a significant impact on a person's level of connection feels to you. Just watch how you look. Over someone's head or around them conveys the opposite idea, implying disinterested. Scientists have investigated this phenomena in videos with slow motion, finding tiny synchronizations between little motions and delicate gestures so subtle, nearly undetectable for the unaided eye. These motions include rapid nods and stretches his fingers slightly, lips, or even slight movements. This coordinated movements between nearby friends demonstrate how our brains identify and consider mirroring to be intimacy. Even while we're not cognizant of, our brains seem to be saying this. Someone understands me. And isn't that what everyone is searching for? So why not try that the next time you find yourself in a try gently imitating the conversation of naturally. Nod when they lean in. When they nod, and slightly tilt your head bit to demonstrate your engagement. The elegance of this method's intricacy makes it reflection rather than replication. Of course, you'll be astounded by how it changes the number of interactions you have. 3. Flip the rules so that you're conversing with a person who is interested in. There's a little mystery about your presence. Tense moment, but this is what really attracts them. People enjoy a challenge, not the type that creates them. Uncomfortable but entertaining and playful, this dynamic keeps them wondering, encourages them to discreetly follow you, keeping kids alert in an enjoyable, flirtatious manner. People are attracted to those who keep them vigilant and consider this. Are you the one who simply follows all of it, or do you add something? Little spine, a light-hearted opposition that abandons them. Want more? Here's a great illustration of how to act like this while you're being flirted with. Might make a cheeky remark like my mother. Alerted me to individuals such as yourself who completely exploit me with what you're flipping the script is what you're doing here, implying that they are attempting to win. You're overly describing the exchange in which they perceive themselves as those carrying out the pursuing. This amusing inversion draws on a competitive spirit that maintains the atmosphere light, as well as the secret to being flirty is to have fun. And timing is seldom taken too seriously. If someone is speaking everything fervently about something, express their passion for cooking or painting, you don't really wish to concur with whatever they try mentioning something like instead. You'll need to demonstrate that I am uncertain, yet I think you show me what you possess. This light-hearted request generates a back and forth that is interesting and flirty, but keep in mind the moment is important. You can't merely make light-hearted remarks while having a serious chat. If the atmosphere is very formal or tense, may feel strange or even uncomfortable instead. Await the light atmosphere. You two are laughing together, and it's evident that you don't take everything along with you. Genuinely, after they realize that you're just having fun, is a great way to do this, because it gives them the impression that they must capture your interest, not the conversely. Consider it this way. Chemistry is created by combining relaxation and stress that you don't desire for them to be fully aware of the location of. When you remark, "I bet I could make it," a superior dessert to you at a talking about baking, you're establishing the notion that you are their equal and they must now demonstrate you're up. This subtly competing energy creates them more involved in the conversation, motivating them to continue demonstrating themselves as a result of your challenge them in a way that's interesting rather than patronizing Dr. Helen Pfizer. And anthropologists renowned for researching relationships and love have talked about the playfully competitive nature of love, relationships, attraction. In her opinion, this type of dopamine is triggered by flirtatious banter in the area of the brain linked to pleasure. It's an organic method of increasing appeal and establish a lasting relationship. It's why is light-hearted teasing so effective? Produces a roller coaster of emotions that peaks and valleys that maintain. Interesting balance is crucial in this situation. You don't want to surpass them or make them feel inferior. Instead of demonstrating that you're comfortable making jokes at them and yourself throughout preserving the enjoyable atmosphere, it's a dancing back and forth to create tension, intriguing allure that leaves them contemplating long after the talk about you keeps things light-hearted, flirtatious, and not being very heavy, guarantees that you two savor the moment and leave them hungry. What will you say the next time, more specifically? The discussion turns into something they're enthusiastic about. Would you accept? Will you take it at face value, or will you add that light-hearted challenge to hold them speculating and intrigued? How will you strike a balance between joy and stress to generate the fourth irresistible chemistry, let your eyes? Have you ever given flirting much thought? The impact of a single look is amazing. To consider that simply looking at someone for a short time can make eye contact and convey a powerful message. Is your covert tool and after you. When you master it, you'll be astounded by how it creates connections with people immediately. Particularly women are far more observant than most. Understand that even before you speak, they frequently determine whether the eyes don't lie. They are intrigued. Disclose a lot about your level of confidence, anxious, sincerely interested, or just trying things out. But here's the catch. It's about more than simply appearances. You want to maintain regulated eye contact. Her eyes lingered long enough to convey curiosity, but not for so long that it turns becoming uncomfortable. Picture yourself in a grocery shop, and on the other side of the aisle, you capture her attention and maintain eye contact for a few beats. Provide a welcoming foundation. Grin, then look calmly. That small gesture says so much, like delivering a subdued yet potent note. I'm seeing you, and I'm curious as to what makes this so intriguing, is how it piques our interest as humans. Naturally, we are drawn to objects that aren't readily apparent or accessible to that fleeting glance between us. Then, averting your gaze gives a clue. It's like opening a door merely to discover the mystery, sufficient to make her wonder what's on the other. Individuals, particularly women, are frequently programmed to be captivated by a challenge. They don't desire all of it. Given to them, they desire it to be intrigued by anything that keeps them speculating. Making this kind of eye contact hits the ideal balance. You're sure of yourself, but interested but not intrusive, desperate, which makes it captivating, distinguishing you from those who are also hesitant to approach, or those that come on as well. Powerful, the true magic occurs when you make sure to look directly at the right. Abruptly, she finds herself wondering, hold on, why did he turn away? That little mystery, whether you like it or not, draws her in, piques her interest, and now she is considering you. This isn't just a behavioral psychology theory supports it. According to study, making eye contact can turn on the reward system in the brain. Growing sensations of attraction, and Albert Morban even highlighted the interest 93% of conversation takes place non-verbally, indicating that your eyes are performing a lot of the conversation before you even speak. Word, and that's what makes it so lovely. Maintaining eye contact enables you to generate tension, curiosity, and a sense of connection. Remain composed without saying a single word. Keep your cool and let your eyes do the talking. Employees notice these subtle signals more than you may believe. It's only about getting her to see you, causing her to experience something that makes her inquisitive, and causing her to wonder, keep going, because that's where the true magic is. During the conversation, and you'll observe how flirting differs from, you take a step, you dance, she takes a step. She is drawn in by the eye contact, but it's the rhythm and timing that make her desire. Leaning in closer requires understanding, knowing when to grin, when to look, and when to maintain a certain amount of mystery in the air. As the legendary Will Rogers famously stated, there is never another opportunity to make it initially, and he was completely. Getting the hang of making eye contact provides you with the advantage to make that initial impression. Sometimes you don't even remember it. To captivate someone, you need words. Takes a quick look, a moment, and a bit. It's a secret to ignite an electric device. Have you ever given any thought to the power of a single glance? It could be the most underappreciated ability you'll ever possess. The ultimate weapon, master number 5. Push and pull is a timeless technique. Method that strikes a balance between moments of displaying curiosity while retreating. It resembles a dance in which you advance, then back and forth once more. All in a pushing in a humorous manner is when you act, pushing her aside with disinterest. Pull occurs when you display emotional interest, bringing her closer once more to the goal is to maintain excitement by keeping her in suspense regarding your emotions. Let's dissect it with some. For instance, you pose a risk to my mental health. You're confusing me so much that I have to stay away from me, or I could like you too. You can tell from the way you smile that you're making things challenging for me. Am I correct? I'll have to avoid you for a while. However, you're too charming and adorable. Can barely tolerate these lines, which can be utilized in person, via text, and with some practice, you'll become proficient at. This is all about paying attention to the communication, maintaining a light-hearted tone, and the best part is that there's a secret art to encourage the majority of people to put the emotional roller coaster aside. Sounds crazy, yet it's light-hearted, letting someone to experience a variety of feelings, such as excitation or annoyance, may intensify attraction when someone encounters conflicting feelings, which causes a release of dopamine, is the same chemical that humans encounter. On exhilarating journeys or during emotional peaks and lows, individuals, particularly women, frequently answer this unexpectedness, since it keeps things thrilling. If you can understand this emotive push-pull in which you engage in playful raise and lower her emotions. Makes a difficult-to-reach link disregard, for example, how she feels a 6 out of 10 for your degree of interest. However, then you tease her in jest, and thereafter restore it to an 8 or yen. It's roughly controlling those feelings changes. As Mark Twain once stated, the key to success is getting began, and that's relevant to success here. The goal of push-pull is to begin that passionate dance with consideration and deference. Keep it light-hearted, enjoyable and upbeat, and don't push too hard or you run the danger of falling off. As uninterested in push-pull power resides in the feelings it evokes. Not about coercion, but rather about establishing a dynamic that maintains interest. So the next time you're speaking, consider regarding how to incorporate a little push-pull. Push her lightly, then pull her back using the sixth warmth causes a stir, then vanish. Have you ever observed how the most engaging programs conclude at the most tense moment in which you're left hanging? I'm curious to see what comes next. Consider applying the same method in your discussions when things are going. She is giggling at your jokes though, and there seems to be a strong connection between you and signal to halt. Do not wait for the slow down the talk, instead of taking charge and conclude in a manner that departs her desire. Additionally, you may say something like, "I detest." To summarize, however, I have something I must attend to. Let's pick this up. Soon, your actions here are not ending the conversation, but leaving the you're igniting her, so keep the door open for more. She is curious and wonders what might next. This method is quite effective, because according to psychology, people are attracted to things that are beyond of their reach. Immediate anticipation is a potent incentive. It activates the brain's dopamine system, which makes her want to the subsequent communication you're establishing mystery. And mystery is alluring because you leave her in charge of the story. Fascinated without giving away everything, she now departs on a positive note, with long-lasting recollections of you following the saying has concluded the conversation. Always leaves them wanting more. The seventh is the magnificent power of a have you ever considered using simple touch? The potential power of a simple touch. It seems as though we are predisposed to analyze the meanings included in each touch, whether to convey fear or rage. Studies on love or empathy show that we interpret touch with an accuracy of up to 83%. So consider what kind of energy it is. When you touch someone, are you conveying? Is it a tight grip, a soft brush, or when it comes to flirting, pat is delicate. Something known as the 5-15 rules, straightforward but efficient goal, is to 5 times touch the other person during a 15-minute discussion. It can be as natural as a light or a fun prod. When timed, touch during a handshake. Indeed, even the smallest touch can contribute layers to your statements and enhance the "this is where stuff gets connected." The 3 He's of intimacy are fascinating. Imagine your hands, hips and head during a talk. You lightly touch a person's hand while they mentioned something that made them giggle, and it's faint, yet it evokes feelings of warmth and instantaneous connection, or image guidance an individual through a packed room with a lightly touching their hip or lower back, softly expressing concern. And the head is the most important area of intimacy, whether it's a cordial shoulder touch or a playful hairbrush grazes. Someone's head produces a special intimacy. Consequently, the next time you're playing with someone asks, "What message am I sending?" With my touch, I could convey a considerate gesture changes the whole mastery of the connection's energy, what the art of touch is all about. Sometimes the smallest touch can be subtle, leaves the largest impact. To encapsulate everything, becoming proficient in various connection strategies is not about using or playing games, deceptive tactics. It's about real connection, assurance and comprehension. What gives someone a sense of worth? When people acquire the ability to use these considerate methods, that they don't only develop attraction, but also cultivate significant partnerships. Keep in mind, the most potent. Your tool is genuineness, which is what will eventually set you apart. Please let us know if these suggestions were useful. Like the video to help the channel. signing up and leaving a comment in the commenting and pressing the alert bell. For more wonderful footage, many thanks for viewing, and we hope to see you again soon.